Okay, so now I've gone through and identified several uplifted shingles. Now, what I'm making sure I'm capturing on my pictures. What I'm making sure to capture on my pictures is all this debris under these shingles. Now, there is a great likelihood that all this debris under these shingles were wind driven, right? Wind is a covered peril, right? Just to be transparent, not only do I not know if somebody came up and threw debris under these shingles, it's impossible for anybody else to know the same thing. Like the most likely probable thing is that the wind is what caused debris to be under these shingles. Now, once again, when you get out here with a field adjuster, more than likely they're going to tell you, according to their carrier guidelines, that uplifted shingles are not considered damage. And that's true. According to their guidelines, they aren't. However, if you are reading a home inspector manual, they will tell you that uplifted shingle is this first stage of first stage of damage to a shingle, right? And somebody might say, yeah, that's just the first stage. And then I say, well, what's the first stage of cancer? Is that cancer or is not cancer? Even though it's the first stage, it's still cancer. If a building inspector would tell you that uplifted shingles are the first stage of shingle damage, what do you think they're going to put in their building inspector report? Because what it is a lot of people don't realize that insurance covers not your home. Your home insurance doesn't cover your home. Your auto insurance does not cover your car. It covers the financial detriment that you inherited it because you now have those assets. So if you don't get this taken care of now, when you have a legitimate homeowner's claim caused by a covered peril, then that money that didn't just poof vanish, and the money that carrier did not pay you, it didn't just vanish into the air, into the ether. No, it's probably going to come off of your equity whenever that good home inspector comes by and check it out. So let me point out some line items to you. So we have the lead pipe jacks here around the perimeter of the and I'll probably try to get some video of that. All right. Matter of fact, I'll just post a picture right here. Around the perimeter of the dwelling is the drip edge. You have the lead pipe jack. Here you have continuous ridge vents. So instead of the off ridge vents that you typically see, you have continuous ridge vents where you can literally feel the heat going in and out of this vent right here. So this is continuous ridge vents, shingle oversize, and you see it's on the ridge of each of the ridges, the continuing ridge vents instead of the off ridge vents. Here you have a cricket, right? Now, whenever a chimney, wherever the water is coming to, whenever it's less than 32 inches, then you're required to put a cricket. So always make sure you get a picture confirming that this linear foot is 32 inches, okay? And then you have a rain diverter right here, right? Right here you have some type of solar charge right here. It's probably some type of device that's being utilized in the house that solar is picking up. You also have satellite right here. So when you're dealing with a satellite on your insurance restoration estimate, you're not just putting in the line item to detach and reset the satellite. You're also putting in a line item for it to be recalibrated. Whenever these satellites are detached and reset, they have to be recalibrated to make sure that they're pointed toward the right direction to get everything it needs off of the ground. And once again, I'm using biodegradable bamboo sticks in order to let these pictures show up, to show that these uplifted shingles. Because what if I just marked it with a chalk and said they were uplifted shingles? A counterpart can say, how do we know those are uplifted? Well, when you do this and then you're able to show the pictures with the debris covering the adhesive, those are very powerful, because a lot of attorneys on the other side, they want to settle these things too. They want to get these things settled, but just make the evidence powerful and overwhelming for them. You also want to make sure to get a picture and capture exactly where the gutters are spiked into. Because a lot of times, now some people will tell you that even if the gutters aren't spiked into the drip edge, they have to be detached and reset in order to allow the workers to move. See, I don't necessarily subscribe to that, but if I do see that the gutters are spiked into the drip edge, then I will go ahead and have it for the gutters not to be detached and resets, but to be removed and replaced. All right, because a lot of these are seamless gutters. Look at this. You think they're gonna remove these gutters without causing any creases in these things? No. So they're gonna have to be removed and replaced, and not just the linear foot of the gutters around the perimeter of home, but you also got to add in that approximately 11 foot of downspout right here. Okay, in your calculations. So all the crease shingles, we got them. You're gonna get an overview picture and an up close picture. You're gonna get all of the different penetrations that you're accounting for, and you're gonna make sure to document. If you're dealing with a relatively recent storm, these fasteners should have a lot of. If this was old damage, these fasteners would have a whole lot of rust on them. But when you're dealing with a relatively recent storm that just exposed the fasteners, then that's when you can see, okay, you can indicate, hey, you did not observe any rust on the fasteners, which is kind of indicative of a recent exposure. Or you may use that to differentiate between old and new damage, because one of the things you want to do is to make sure to show that you're not being biased and you are trying to distinguish between potentially old and potentially new damage. And if you see uplifted shingle that has fasteners that has a lot of rust on it, you can put that in your report. Say this appears to be old damage, not associated with the data loss of this storm. But as you can see, the old damage seems to cause the fasteners to be overly rusted, whereas the relatively recently damaged shingles that are exposing the fasteners do not. So, just a little tip for you. No matter which side of the ball you're on, wish you luck. Hope you make $1 million your first season. But most importantly, learn. Keep learning. Don't stop learning. And if you ever feel yourself being compromised, no matter which side of the ball you're on, switch coaches. Talk to you soon. I'm Randolph Love III, and you're listening to the Entrepreneurs Podcast.